Let's do this. Good morning, Kansas City. Welcome to Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio. 95.7 FM. I'm Kevin Kietzman on a gorgeous day. Headed to a very nice weekend. Little chilly still again tomorrow, but Sunday looks excellent for some plans. We're going to do an early Mother's Day with our moms on Sunday because we're not going to be able to be with them the following Sunday. So we're looking forward to that. Maybe watch a little Royals baseball with my mom, have her out on the deck at the house, grill some burgers and dogs, that sort of thing. Whatever your weekend plans are, we hope you enjoy them, and we're glad that you have joined us here today. In just a moment, our opening thoughts. What do Republicans do campaigning after Trump? We've got a great example in California of how I think it's going to go. Also today on the show, Kamala Harris was giving a speech at a dinner, and, well, she literally put people to sleep with the speech. You got to hear this story. It's going to be terrific. And Babe Ruth was a prolific home run hitter. There is currently a hitter in Major League Baseball that has surpassed him in home runs in a way that has Mark scratching his head right now trying to figure this thing out. You'll have to stick around for a while and wait on that one. But we begin with a post-Trump GOP. We don't ask the question often. We don't think about it. I'm not talking about this isn't going to get into inside politics. This isn't inside baseball at all. Not, redistricting seats, what the policy should be, any of that stuff. We've now been trained as an electorate on the right. We have this need to be entertained by our candidate. You heard Pastor Adam on here earlier today with Pete, who was certainly more interesting and entertaining than the governor of Kansas, who I can't even believe she's been governor twice. When you hear her speak, she's the least inspirational public figure ever. Like, there's nothing to it. Maybe you got to give her credit. She must be good at something because she won the thing twice. But you want to talk about unimpressive. Is anybody in Kansas, even if you're a Democrat, really proud to say, oh, yeah, send her to the big meeting because they'll all be impressed by her in Kansas? They'd be like, no. Completely unimpressive. But most Democrats are. At least some of them are wild, like Hakeem Jeffries, and there's some entertainment value to them on their nuttiness. But we've been conditioned now in our party to be in your face about policies that Americans agree with. Most Americans agree with Republican policies. Now, some people have tuned Trump out because they say they personally don't like him. He's bombastic, all those things, right? But he makes us laugh. He makes us cry. He makes some people throw things. The story is always Trump. So that's the best way to win, is to cut through the clutter, be the entertaining candidate. I think J.D. Vance would be an excellent president. I think Marco Rubio, Ron DeSantis. I can name you a whole bunch of people I think would be great presidents. But how do you cut through after the era of Trump? Because we will not accept boring. I can promise you that. There's no accepting boring. You better be able to get on stage and go face-to-face with a Democrat and light them up and tell them where they're wrong on all these policies and be convincing and in some way be a little bit funny or a little entertaining or be willing to do something that maybe other candidates don't. And that's what's happening in Los Angeles. I mentioned at the end of the show yesterday, the guys here, have you seen Spencer Pratt's commercial that he has out there? A lot of people are talking about this. It's just a regular TV ad. Spencer Pratt was a reality TV star. He was on a show called The Hills, where I guess he met his wife, Heidi Montag. Am I saying it right? Montag? They're married. They've been married since 2008. They're together known as Spidey because it's Spencer and Heidi. They're known as Spidey. So everybody in L.A. knows him. He's not some big Academy Award-winning star. In fact, I don't know if he's much of an actor. Some of these things were reality TV, but folks, reality TV is fake. It's staged. There are storylines. They're given suggestions. It's Hollywood. These things, reality TV isn't real. But he goes on there, and he was a very young man when he did all this, and he was kind of the star of the show. Did you ever watch it, Mark? Did you watch The Hills?
I didn't, but I know people that enjoyed it.
Okay. And he was just a really good-looking, cute, smart, personable young dude on this reality show, and everybody loved him. And he met the girl, and he got the girl, and they got married, and they're living their life. And he's been on another show called I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, which I think is great. He amassed enough of a fortune, and so did she, to build a house in Malibu. And it burned down during the fires, the Palisades fires. And so he's done this commercial where he's on camera and says, I'm Spencer Pratt. I'm running for mayor against Karen Bass, who's ignored all of us. You don't believe me? Look at her mansion right here. And he shows this house that's worth, I don't know, $4 million or something When she's here, this is where she lives. And look, this is what the rest of LA looks like. And now he's walking in these bad parts of town with all these tents and all the garbage and everything else. Yeah, that's right. You don't want to look at this stuff either, he says. And the way she's living and the way the governor's living in this state, they don't understand what it's like to be us. This is where I live. And he stands in front of one of those Airstream trailer mobile homes. And the camera pulls out. And it's up on a cliff where his old house was on this rock slab. And the entire house is gone and burned down. And he has literally put a mobile home on the side of a hill in Malibu and is living out of a mobile home while running for mayor of Los Angeles. And when you see it, it's the most stunning thing you've seen. And I'm like, that's how you campaign. Everybody agreed. Then today I get to my feed on X. I don't even know who Spencer Pratt is. I didn't know his name a week ago. I am completely smitten and infatuated with the way he's running his campaign. This is the way forward after Donald Trump. Now, I don't know whether this animation thing that's about 3 minutes long, I'm not playing all of it for you. I don't know if it's AI. I don't know if he's got friends at movie studios, animation studios that made it for him. It is absolutely brilliant. It is his call out to Latino voters in LA. I'm just going to be honest here, okay? Because here's the message. Your black mayor is not helping your Latino community. Yes, Spencer Pratt is pitting Latinos versus blacks in Los Angeles. Your black mayor is failing you, Latinos. And they wrote this song. He doesn't sing it, but he's the animated character throughout it. They show him here pushing one of these giant garbage bins down the road, and the mayor's in it with all this dirty stuff. And then they show him at a Latin festival, and he's on stage dancing with pretty girls and stuff. And they're like, and a whole
That's
sign.
His wife, actually.
Is it his wife?
Yeah.
Okay. It's his wife. So it's Spidey up on stage. And there's a sign in the background that says Spencer for mayor. And he's up there dancing, and all the people in the streets are having a great time. This is animation. And it's as catchy as all get out. And it has gone viral because it's basically like a 3.5-minute music video of Spencer. He's a Republican in a nonpartisan race. He's a Republican up against Karen Bass. And this is so catchy. It's crazy.
Mayoy Karen took a trip way off the map while the hills caught fire. She was posting from abroad, Palisades go out to Dana, smoke in the sky. We were coughing in the kitchen, she was saying, bye-bye. Spencer, saca la basura. Look what she left on our block. LA looking like a closet where the junk can talk. Spencer, saca la basura. Bag it up, roll it out to the street. Latinos por Pratt, we're singing, cause we're tired of this dirty beat.
I mean, you cannot campaign better than that, folks. It is absolutely impossible.
And the Spanish part says "take out the trash."
I know.
That's
it's
what
great.
he's. That's a yeah.
Right? And
He's actually rolling her out.
And the chorus thing is Spencer for mayor, but it's in Spanish. Is that what he says? Because I don't know those Spanish words after.
No, that's take out the trash.
Oh, it's Spencer, take out the trash.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right.
And he's taking out the mayor in the
Got it.
trash
Yeah.
can.
No, I love that part where he's pushing that giant dumpster and she's in it. It's fantastic, folks. So if you've wondered, what do we do after Trump with all the personality that he's had and the way we've all sort of become addicted as conservatives to making fun of the left, because we don't get serious. We don't need a No Kings rally. We don't want violence. We're not willing to throw paint on somebody's artwork. It's not us. It's so much fun to be conservative and just laugh at them. It is so fun. And man, this guy gets it. I got a crush on his campaign. I don't know if a Republican can win mayor in Los Angeles, but if he did, and I don't know that he will, if he somehow did, I think he's got a lot better chance of winning in L.A. than, Hilton does of winning the governor's mansion in California. I think that's going to be impossible. They'll rig that somehow. That'll get fixed. But if Spencer Pratt somehow became mayor and cleaned that city up, we may someday in our lifetime get California back. If they just had an example of what would happen of, okay, here's somebody in charge that's going to do things differently and get it right, people would notice. Most people aren't as political as you and I, okay? And that goes for the left as well. Most people say they don't like politics, but they vote every 4 years or whatever. This is how you do it. This thing's getting millions of views. If you watch the whole 3 minutes, I can't take my eyes off, Mark. Can you describe, Mark, what it looks like? Because it's gorgeous, isn't it?
The music video?
Yeah, the music video, the animation is
Yeah.
just, you can't take your eyes off.
Yeah, it's a very catchy song, first of all, and then the animation, he's cleaning up the streets, he's getting the trash, not only the trash, but just like the tents off the street, and making LA look better.
But the actual animation looks better than The Simpsons or any of these things aren't. Like, it looks like he went to a studio and spent a pile on this thing and got the best animators. Now, it may just be AI. I don't know.
It could be.
Anymore, but it's unbelievable. That's how you do it. Spencer Pratt, remember the name. You're probably going to hear that. Look, I didn't care about the mayor's race in New York. I don't care much about Mamdani, and I really don't care that much about Los Angeles. But when I see a Republican candidate that's 42 years old and Donald Trump is 80 or pushing 80, and the way he's done it, we got to think about the next generation, how they're going to do it. That's how you're going to do it. You're going to do it with better social media. When Democrats go out and try to do social media, they fail. Chuck Schumer with raw hamburgers on the grill, he's getting ready to flip. They don't know how to do this stuff. But it seems like Spencer Pratt or people like him would be very, very, very good at it. And we may be looking at the next generation of how Republicans are going to fight Democrats. His name is Spencer Pratt in Los Angeles. If you have time on your laptop, want to check it out, I would encourage you to take a look. I don't know. I may send the guy's campaign $50. I'm just impressed with what he's doing, and I don't even know him. I appreciate his hustle and his fight and the fact that he's living in a mobile home on his lot where his house burned down, and that's been so long ago, and he's got no possibility of knowing when he can rebuild. That's California. 913-408-7957 is our number to call if you'd like to join us. I'd love to hear what you thought about Pastor Adam earlier today if you heard it, or the governor of Kansas if you didn't fall asleep listening to her talk. Anything that's on your mind is on our mind. This is Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio.
From Lenexa to Lee Summit, it's Kevin Kietzman, Uncanceled, on 95.7 FM KCMO Talk Radio.
Welcome back to Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio. Kevin Kietzman behind the mic, Mark Van Sickle alongside our great bargain hunter, if you will. He always finds the deals. We're going to talk about a really good one here in just a couple of moments, so stay tuned for that. If you like to save a buck or two, we've got advice for you. Right now, let's start out on the phones today with Maria on KCMO Talk Radio. Good morning, Maria. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. Happy May Day, and thank you for having me.
You bet. What's on your mind?
So the reason I called is, number one, I have a background in advertising, and I know the power of social media in politics. I think that guy had a great ad that you played. I'm pretty sure it is AI generated, and that's why it's so great. Tony Robbins just had an event last week that I attended on how to create these great ads. Anyway, the reason I called was I lived in Laguna Beach from 2002 to 2017. And then I'm a holistic health practitioner. I do massage therapy and all kinds of great therapies in Overland Park. Anyway, so I ended up moving to West Hollywood in late 2017. And my cousin, who's a doctor, had a friend named Saul. He's been friends with him for years. He's Persian and also a Trump supporter. And John said, hey, you want to go to this Trump event in Beverly Hills that Saul told me about? And I go, yeah, let's go. So this is at a time, you got to remember, when nobody was talking about Trump. They were afraid to mention his name if you're a Republican, because they're all Republicans in South Orange County, which is where I lived for 15 years. So nobody was talking about it. They were afraid to get shot or whatever. And so the Persians weren't afraid. And I went. There was maybe 50 to 100, and I ended up going every Saturday. They had that from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. It grew to crowds of like 2,000 to right before the election that Trump won. That Trump got stolen. They stole the election. So I'm pretty sure, because we were in Huntington Beach, we went up and down the coast campaigning.
So your point is, you think California is a sleeping Republican stronghold?
I definitely do.
Do you think Spencer Pratt can win mayor?
I think anything's possible right now. It all depends on the way they market themselves. So this guy, Spencer, I think he could, because of the ad that you just played. And the reason I say that is because I campaigned so hard for Trump when I was in L.A. from 2019 to 2020, for 2 years. And I was so sure that we flipped. We had hundreds and thousands. We had thousands of people in Beverly Hills.
The problem is that state's not close. It's not close. Now, we've gotten rid of a lot of illegal aliens from California. We're deporting some people, so maybe that will help. Maria, thank you for your call. That's got to help. The 2030 census, you would hope, helps if it's going to be more legitimate and just be U.S. citizens. There's a lot of work to be done in California because it's not a close state. There's nothing close there. And everybody's talking about Steve Hilton can be the next governor. It's just a crapshoot. It's a long shot. There's going to be one Democrat against Steve Hilton, and they're going to vote Democrat because they're entrenched out there. And if you trust them to run a fair election, good luck. I got some oceanfront property for you in Arizona I'll sell you. No big deal. I just don't see it. Let's start small. Let's see if one guy that's well-known in Los Angeles can cut through and get rid of a mayor that's wildly unpopular in a nonpartisan election where you walk in and it doesn't say Republican or Democrat. That'd be a place to start. You know me, I hate nonpartisan elections. But the reason they're nonpartisan is mostly around here it helps Democrats. Well, maybe the reverse is true. Maybe in Los Angeles that helps Spencer Pratt. So we'll look forward and see if maybe something like that takes place, which would be really cool. If somehow, some way he could cut through, it'd be really cool. All right, we do a really neat thing here at Cumulus Media called sweetdeals.com. And it really should be called marksdeals.com because, Mark, you love a good deal, correct?
Oh, yeah. Love these.
Does anybody love a deal more than you in this entire building?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. And the best,
maybe John.
And the best deal is, we get some free food coming in here on Mondays and some things like that. And a couple of weeks ago, a dude came in who started his own business. It's a catering barbecue business. And he also has a food truck, but that's not what this is about. It's a catering business, and it's called Crooked Q Barbecue. And I remember talking about Pete with it because it was so good. It was a Friday, wasn't it? Because I was on the air with Pete that day. Mm-hmm. It was so really excellent. And starting today, May 1st, if you go to sweetdeals.com, this is a great idea for like Mother's Day next weekend or a graduation party. He's doing catering. They're going to do $500 gift certificates for the barbecue catering, half price, $250. You get $500 worth of queue for whatever kind of party you want to throw this spring for just $250. It is on sale right now. It just went on sale, I think, at like 10 o'clock or 8 o'clock this morning at sweetdeals.com. Just go to sweetdeals.com.
And we only got 15 of these.
There's only 15 of them.
Yeah, so you got to get in quick.
Yeah, because he's not making any money at all on these. He's just getting his name out there and
Hopefully,
hoping to have repeat customers
Yep.
and whatnot. This is everything you love in a business person. It's a guy that really knows barbecue, starting out on his own, doing his own thing from the bottom to climb up. Who knows? Maybe someday he'll have a 5-star restaurant in Kansas City. I don't know. But we met him. His name's Donnie, right? Crooks. His last name's Crooks. Crooked Q Barbecue and Catering in Kansas City. It's 9205 Oakland Avenue in Kansas City. Go to sweetdeals.com. It's half price catered barbecue to any event you want. You can have him bring it to your neighborhood swimming pool or something this summer, or your golf event. If you're doing a 12-person deal with your golf buddies or something, whatever it may be, it's excellent barbecue. The brisket was just as moist a brisket as I've ever had.
Really tasty.
What do you judge barbecue by? I judge it by brisket. What do you judge it by?
I judge it by the smokiness. I really like
Of
the taste.
everything?
Yeah,
Okay.
everything all around.
To me, it's just the brisket, man. I don't know. I'm just kind of a brisket freak, and it's good. All right, let's give away some tickets to Gutfeld. That's a pretty good deal, too, because they're absolutely free. 7th caller right now at 408-7957 on KCMO.
Vince Colonnese here, and I'm coming up at 11 after Kevin Kietzman on 95.7 FM KCMO Talk Radio.
There's just something about Fridays and sunshine. It's a good tune. Feeling great today. Hope you're feeling great as well. We had a pretty interesting thing happen a couple of nights ago with Kamala Harris. I don't know why this tickles me. She was at a dinner where she was the featured speaker, of course, and we know how that goes. Not very well. And they had a band right next to her or beside her. She's at this big event. And there's people in the audience, and they're enjoying it, whatever. And Kamala's doing what Kamala does. It's slow. It was very Laura Kelly on Mundo in the Morning-esque. Like, seriously, if you didn't hear Kansas Governor Laura Kelly today on Mundo in the Morning, normally I direct you to the podcast page at KCMO Talk Radio for all the really great interviews. You got to go listen to her and ask yourself again how in the world she's been governor twice. You just have to go listen to her. Like, you would be so disappointed if you showed up at some charity event and you're going to sit with a politician or a celebrity or something and you drew her at your table. You'd be like, what? Where's the bar? I'm going to need a couple of stiffies here in order to sit at this dinner with her. She seriously looks like she's never had a good day in her life or ever had any fun. I'd say she's never let her hair down, but she really doesn't have hair. She cuts it all off. I don't know. I shouldn't pick on her. I'm just glad she's going to be gone. Let's not blow this. Republican candidates, don't all just sit here and clobber each other in the primary. If you're polling poorly, get out. Even if you're rich, clear the decks a little bit. Let's not make this too messy. Let's just win the dang thing. Please. So Kamala's out there. And by the way, I don't know if you've seen the polling. She leads the Democrats by 1,000,000 miles in all the polling for 2028. People say, oh, she's crazy. She'll never run. She has no chance. If you're leading in all the polling by miles, I mean, like she's like double Gavin Newsom. She's just crushing everyone. And part of this is she gets like 97% of the black women's vote. And then she gets a huge chunk of the women Democrats. And so she just polls terrifically. But we're also polling the people who are who would understand least what it takes to be president. And they don't really care. They just see skin color or a woman or whatever. And that's the reason they vote. That is not the reason to vote for someone for president. She's clearly not qualified and it would be a disaster. But anyway, she's given this speech and it's really bad and it's going very Kamala-like. And the saxophone player in the band falls asleep. Now, we've seen people nod off at events and whatnot. And I get it. You know, it's getting slow and you hang your head a little bit and bob your head. There were people in the audience that saw it and started videotaping him. You know when you're like about to fall asleep and you do that thing where you jump and you go, and your dog does it, and you're like, oh, like that? This dude's head's down. His eyes are closed. It was close to a minute he was hanging his head, and then he did the old thing. Like, I'm not supposed to be sleeping. And he actually played a couple minutes later when she left the stage. It's going to make a great campaign video at some point that she's speaking and putting the saxophone player to sleep at an event. We love that. We love that about Kamala. AOC, did you see this? AOC got stopped by TMZ. TMZ had one of their, they pay these folks, I don't know what they pay them, a few $100. You find somebody famous, you ask them a couple questions, you send it to TMZ, and they pay you for it. So AOC's walking around, and TMZ stops her, and the guy says, hey, whatever his name is, Brian with TMZ, and she's like, she's all in on this now. AOC's like, TMZ's here? I got this. And dude says to her, so tell me, what's it going to be for president? Will we have a first female president or the first gay president? And she says, well, we don't know if we've already had a gay president. I think there are chances we already have. And she kind of winks and smiles at the camera. And they continue the conversation. And everyone's interpretation is that she's talking about Obama. We know that there have been men come out and say that they were with Obama. The left media didn't cover any of that. People can say anything. It doesn't make it true. I'm not saying it is or it isn't. I just know that this has been going around for quite some time. There's been strange things happen around Obama. He had a chef die in the lake by his house. That was a weird one. And there's just weird stuff. Like, can you imagine if Trump had some dude staying at Mar-a-Lago that was like chef boy, and, cooking stuff up, all the good, healthy stuff, staying at his place. Like not Mar-a-Lago where there's like 100 guests and stuff, just a dude that's like living there for a while. And one day he went out on a board or a kayak or something and drowned in the pond by Mar-a-Lago. What kind of story would that be? Because it was not a story when that happened to the Obamas. Like it just didn't happen. We don't really know who he was, what it was all about. It just happened, and what a shame. Doggone it, my chef just walked out of the kitchen one day and went down there on his board and came up dead. It happens. So AOC, I mean, you can't watch this and not think that she's not meaning Obama because she's proud of him. She just wishes he'd come out. That's what it looks like to me. And she's getting destroyed by people on both sides. Obviously, the people on the right are having a field day with her, but on the left, they're mad because they're like, there's two kinds of people on the left. One, like, just say it. Let's get him out because they're mad that Obama's never come out. If it's true, I don't know that it is. Okay? And then others, like, you idiot. That's our secret. Nobody's supposed to know. She didn't win with anybody on that comment. And it's there. And all the memes on social media show her next to Joan Rivers. Because you remember the comedian Joan Rivers? Joan Rivers many years ago was the first to say it. She got out of a car. She was kind of old and nutty. And everybody dismissed it as Joan Rivers is nutty. And she got out and they were asking her about something political. And she goes, better than the policies of Obama or something. And, he's too busy with his boyfriends and everybody knows he's gay or whatever it was she said. So now they're running AOC next to Joan Rivers. And I don't care who's posting that. That's bad for you with your Democrat base, and that's bad for you with Republicans. So AOC's kind of in some hot water there. And it doesn't bother me in the least, man. That doesn't bother me in the least. This is an interesting story out of New Mexico. Meta, which is Facebook, Instagram, and several other platforms. They got a bunch of social media platforms, which is why they rebranded Meta. Meta's been losing lawsuits about privacy protections with children and things like that kids are seeing things, whatever. All these social media companies have issues with that. Device makers, everyone else. Elon Musk has probably navigated it better than anyone. But Meta's gone through this in a lot of places. They've lost some lawsuits. They've paid some money. New Mexico's been all over him. New Mexico, it's as blue as it gets. Remember when all of these tech companies, all of these social media companies, all of them, these guys were young. They were just out of school. They all got rich. They were all Democrats. They all just smoked pot all the time, and they had these great ideas, and they came up with all this cool stuff. Guess what? All the billionaires are all growed up. And guess what happens when they grow up? They start to change what they believe. And when you have $200 billion, you don't like it when somebody wants to take $6 billion or $8 billion or whatever the tax would be to stay in the state that you live in. So you move somewhere else. We've seen lots of that. Well, they're all over Meta over child safety. That's what New Mexico says. Now, we remember COVID pretty well around here. We remember a lot of things the Democrats have done when they can get control. Ask yourself if you think this sounds legit. Would the Democrats in New Mexico be going after Meta? And Meta has changed a lot of things that they do in New Mexico. They put a statement out and said, we've changed a lot of our protocols and a lot of things to conform with what they want us to do just in New Mexico. We've done that. But they want more. And Meta says, if they're really going to press it on more, we're pulling out of New Mexico. We will just quit. All of our platforms will be gone from New Mexico. So ask yourself in blue New Mexico, do you really think they're pushing Meta for child safety? Or do you think that the Democrats in New Mexico have rallied up and said, we used to own social media. We're getting killed in social media these days. We got to stop it. We got to regulate and stop everything in social media. Years ago, I would be on Twitter and I would give sports takes. And 90% of the people hated it. And I'm like, well, yeah, but the people that agree with me or like me aren't there or whatever. And like, I had no idea. But at one point when Twitter started, it was 85% liberals. It's roughly 50-50 now, which means it's a fair place. It might lean 2 or 3 points toward conservatives now because some of the liberals have left and gone to Blue Sky or whatever it's called. But it's very fair. And a lot of these things have become more fair. And the owners of these platforms are like, we really would like everybody to be here. And free speech is okay and it's cool. We'd like as many people as we could get on Facebook or Instagram or X or whatever. That's good for business. It's good for our shareholders. It's good for me turning my $200 billion into $300 billion. Because that's what they start to think about when they get in their 40s. And they're not 26 anymore and high every day. Okay? So that's taking place. But I can't look at this New Mexico thing And we spend some time in New Mexico now. When we go to Arizona and drive back and forth, we stop and stay in New Mexico. It's a weird place, man. I couldn't live in New Mexico. I almost anywhere I go, I'm like, I could live here. I couldn't live in New Mexico. There's just no way. And you spot it immediately that Democrats are running that place. I mean, you just know it. Driving through New Mexico, everything that happens, you just know you're in a very blue state. And so I'm looking at this going, this can't possibly be about child safety. What is this? I think they're just trying to shut down social media in New Mexico because they feel like they might lose their party or lose their state. Because eventually the truth gets out about what Democrats do politically. And when it does, it doesn't work out very well for them. The only thing that works out for them is pitting people against each other. Race, one grievance after another. You can complain about something, but they have nothing to fix it. Pastor Adam came on today. He had a lot of complaints, didn't he? He sees a lot of things wrong in the world. Most men of the cloth I've ever met see the good in the world. He sure seems a lot of the bad, but I didn't hear him say how he's going to fix it. He just wanted to know that he's a pastor and he's running and he's going to get along with everybody, and he sees the bad. He's with you. He sees the bad. I'm like, what's the bad? This is the golden age of Trump. I don't see much bad. I see a lot of greatness out there. I see record stock markets. I see military might over Iran. I see Venezuela liberated. We had people flying yesterday from Miami to Caracas for the first time in 7 years. This Iran thing's going to end. We're going to have lower gas prices. We got record private sector employment. I don't see the bad. But there's a couple different kinds of people in the world. Most people are conservative. They wake up every day and kind of want to see the good things. And I guess if you're a pastor, but you've gone left and you got Trump derangement syndrome, you wake up and see the bad. It's kind of how these things work. Very interesting interview, and it's going to be a very interesting race in the state of Kansas. Okay, let's give away some concert tickets. Morton Amphitheater. This is choose your pair. Pick a pair. You want to see? I mean, does anybody want to see Luke Bryan? They do. I know. I've got friends who that's the show. That's the show this year they want to go to. But of our winners so far, where are we? 7-2?
7-2-0.
7 for Jason Aldean, 2 for Hank Williams Jr. Can we get Luke Bryan on the board? Seventh caller right now, 913-408-7957. This is Uncanceled on KCMO.
KCMO Talk Radio. from Overland Park to Parkville, it's Kevin Kietzman, Uncanceled, on 95.7 FM KCMO Talk Radio.
Okay, buddy, who won and where are they going?
They're going to Hank Williams Jr., of course.
Williams
And
Jr.
Nick Wright.
Okay.
Nick Wright from Gardner.
Nice, okay.
Not the Nick Wright you're thinking of.
I got you. Good work, Nick. Congratulations. I remember once upon a time, when I was in television, I hosted the Derek Thomas Show on KY 102, the old KY 102. This would have been in the 90s. And it was the Derek Thomas Show. I eventually turned the name of it into the I'm Late Show with Derek Thomas because he was late every week. So I would sit there, and it's where I learned how to fill 20 minutes at a time without a guest, and because Derek was never there. But there was an event that happened one summer at what used to be called Sandstone. Hank Williams Jr. was appearing there as for a concert, and they canceled the show that night. And the reason they canceled the show is because Derek Thomas was partying all night the night before and all day the day of the show with Hank Williams Jr. They were buddies. And I think Hank maybe he's from Alabama too, or Derek Thomas was, if you thought he was big in Kansas City, he was the legend in Alabama, where he played college football, and he was buddies with Hank Williams Jr., and it probably wasn't a match made in heaven for the two of those guys. But Hank showed up, and I don't even know that he sang a song. He may have come out and I think he was just really drunk, like fall over drunk, hit the microphone stand, the whole thing. People are booing the whole deal. And it ended, and I remember they refunded everybody's money. And it was just a major story that Hank Williams Jr. was in Kansas City so messed up he couldn't go out on stage. But he was cited. He definitely got to Sandstone, and they were both there. And Derek was troubled, too. It wasn't in season. It was like the middle of summer. But I remember asking him about that one time on his show, and he goes, "Oh, we don't talk about that stuff, Keats. We don't talk about what happened." I said, "Oh, I got to ask you, man. You apparently had a good time with Hank Williams Jr." I think he's clean now, right? Like a lot of these guys just get totally clean after years like that. We know if Hank Jr. is clean.
Seems so.
Seems like a good enough dude. I don't know much about his dad was real clean cut, right? Didn't his dad wear like a jacket and a hat and stuff? Back when.
I don't know much about Senior.
I think the country music in the 50s and 60s, they wore jackets and ties and stuff.
Yeah.
I think Johnny Cash maybe started. Willie Nelson, definitely. There's a picture of Willie Nelson out there when he's like 20, when he first started out, and he's got a suit on. He's unshaved. He's shaven, clean shaved, the whole thing. It's crazy what they become once they become big. So congratulations. Babe Ruth, Mark, hit 348 home runs. This is really random, okay? In his first 1,321 games. But somebody yesterday played their 1,321st game, and they've hit more home runs than Babe Ruth in that number of games. You want to take a crack at it?
I mean, I would guess Aaron Judge.
Nope.
No?
I don't think he's played that many games yet.
Huh. I'm not sure.
Kyle Schwarber of the Phillies.
Schwarber, he's a home run hitter.
He hit two. He's got 350 home runs in the same amount of time that Hank Aaron had 348. Now, I think it was easier to play a longer career then, and I don't know their ages at this point. That would be very important. I'm going to guess Schwarber's older than Babe Ruth was, and that Babe Ruth will wind up having played more years than Schwarber. I'm not suggesting Schwarber's going to catch his number, but that's crazy. Kyle Schwarber's been a great player for quite a while, hit a lot of home runs, but I would never have thought he's on a torrid pace better than Babe Ruth. Would you?
Yeah, I don't know. He played with the Cubs for a while. He was on their World Series team, and that was 10 years ago at this point. So, yeah, I don't know how much time he has left.
Great player. All right, the Kentucky Derby is tomorrow. Mark, do you have a parlay? I know you guys did a show trifecta. Do you have anything going special for the Kentucky Derby at FanDuel?
I think I'm just going to pick Further Ado to be the winner.
Further Ado?
That's just going to be my pick.
So I famously lost a package of peanut butter M&Ms a couple of weeks ago to you, right?
Yep.
I'd like to re-wager. I'll go hot tamales against peanut M&Ms.
Okay.
And I will take Right to Party.
Right to Party.
Yeah, best finisher.
Between that and Further Ado?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
You've got the advantage again, right?
I think so, just barely.
What are the odds on your horse?
8-1.
Mine's 30-1.
Yeah. Sometimes these things are random, though.
Well, I got to fight for your right to party. That's all I know. If you're going to be a Chiefs fan in this town, we got to fight for your right to party, baby. That's kind of where I am.
Something to watch for.
Yeah. I saw that Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, we all know the superstar The Rock, went to the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And I thought, well, I guess I assumed maybe he already was on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and he may be. I haven't looked that up, but he was there. But, you know, the celebrities turn out in Hollywood at the Walk of Fame for other celebrities that are getting their their star on the Walk of Fame, and he showed up for Emily Blunt, the actress Emily Blunt, and somebody else, Stanley Tucci. I think you know who Stanley Tucci is?
I don't know Stanley. Okay. No, Emily.
I think he's got the black hair and the glasses, kind of a tall guy. He's done some interesting things. But Emily Blunt, was she in like Spider-Man or something?
She's been in several movies.
I mean, she's got a Hollywood Walk of Fame star. Didn't go very well for The Rock. He left the event, got in his car and drove home and got pulled over. Why do you think The Rock got pulled over?
Tinted windows?
Tinted windows. What do you think the fine is in Los Angeles for the overly tinted windows?
Couple thousand?
$25.
Oh, only 25?
First time.
I was going to say, somebody called in the show the other day about that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
About The Rock?
No, about themselves.
Yeah.
Or their kid.
Okay, well, in California, apparently they do a lot of this. And they pull you over. It was his first time. And says it was his first time, it's $25. And then they give you 30 or 60 days or something to fix it. And the next time, if he, he won't get pulled over if he fixes it. The Rock trying to hang out, man. Looked like a sweet car. I couldn't tell what it was. And his window was down, but the back one wasn't. I'm going to guess The Rock rolled down to the Hollywood Walk of Fame in a really, really nice ride. That's it for this weekend, or this week on Uncanceled. We hope you have a very, very, very fine weekend. The Vince Show's coming up next.